Nikki.Star fam, I know it has been a minute. I apologize. Your girl has been under the weather, and this is like my first full day of strength. So I just wanted to come to you guys and give you just a quick synopsis of quick. I always say quick, but it's probably won't be quick. But I'm going to do my best to get through the first 6 episodes of Love is Blind. Now, I was going to do a live. However, I just do not feel like I have the strength to sit and chat like we normally do for about 2 hours just because it's my first full day. I don't want to overwork myself so that I end up being sicker longer. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to do this catch up so that later on in the week, I can actually do a live with you with the remaining episodes of Love is Blind. So, Star fam, let's get into it. Yikes. First of all, my initial thoughts is that this season is a joke. I don't buy the cast. I don't buy this whole production of it. It seems to me like these people are actors that they got off of, backstage or back page. I don't know where they got these people from, but I'm just not believing their stories, which is why so many of these relationships fell apart so quickly, so easily, because they are just not believable. Something is extremely off with the Denver cast. I don't know if it's production, but something is up and I am not buying what they are selling. Also, why is this blue? Hold on, I just noticed that my banner is blue. Why is my banner blue? You know what? We just gonna go with it. But I never did no blue. Anyway, I did not know that this was the same cast. They all look so different from their pictures and from their video that they did on Netflix introducing themselves. They look so different on camera. Had it not been for the dude that eats his boogers, I would have not known who this cast was. And again, Netflix, if you need a photographer, I'm not the best, but I know I'm better than the photographer that you hire for this show because ain't no way I did not recognize this cast. These people do not look the same, and some of them are actually photogenic. I don't know how you made half this cast look like the hills have eyes. Let's get into episode 1. So initially, we find out that everybody on this cast has had a hard life. Everybody's crying in the pods. Everybody's talking about how they overcame. And again, I'm just like, what is going on in Denver? Is it Denver or is it Brooklyn in the 70s? What is going on? Why is everybody having such a hard life? If your life is so hard to the point where you have to cry and break down to a stranger, maybe you should not be looking for a partner right now. Maybe you need to be looking for a therapist because if we're keeping it buck, everybody on this cast needs some mental help. We will get into Edmund. When Casey said that she dated her high school sweetheart for 10 years, started dating him at 17, broke up with him at 27, I should have known that she was going to give us some mess in the end. This lady is not, here's the thing. To date somebody from 10 years from the time that you were an adolescent to now you are a fully grown and realized adult, your next step should not be going on the show where you instantly get married. There is some trauma there from that relationship and a lot of things that you have to work on because there could not have been any growth in the relationship if you guys were dating since you were 17. There were probably a lot of repetitive and unhealthy patterns that were repeated in that relationship that you need to unlearn before you jump into another relationship or even try to be somebody's wife. There's some healing and some work that has to be done there. You should have not been on the show. None of the cast should have been on the show where marriage is the next step. None of them are ready. Let's get into this cast. Patrick is the reason why you should not raise your kids in environments where they do not see themselves. This is a deeply insecure man well into his 30s. He has no idea that he is attractive. He has no idea that he could be a valuable partner. And he is constantly trying to find validation in his oppressor. This is a really sad state for a grown adult to be. And it is no fault of this man, but his parents. To put him in an environment where he does not see himself, where he has gone his entire life thinking that he is unattractive and has deep insecurities. Again, this show is the last place that this man should be. His parents set him up to fail. He has extreme trauma from his childhood, and it is playing out on the show. And it is absolutely heartbreaking to see how this grown adult navigates through his life because he was so unprotected. prepared as a child. His parents should be ashamed. So we see Patrick connect with two women. One of the women that he connected with is Anna. He connected with her initially. Where is Anna's picture? This is Anna. I call her thickness. He connected with Anna. Right off the bat, these two both realized that they were Asian. I think it was the fact when they were discussing the middle names and they both realized they didn't have one, they were able to suss out really early that they both were Asian. But the conversation that Patrick and Anna had was deeply unsettling because we first start off with Patrick, who was just like, he just did not know he was attractive his entire life because he was the Asian guy in an all white environment and nobody wanted him. And the people that were around him let him know that it was because he was Asian. So from a child traumatized, that trauma grew up with this adult male. And then you meet Anna, and her and Patrick immediately start talking about how although they are not white, all of their partners have been white and all of their relationships have been unsuccessful because of their culture, because of how this person or the people that relationships they are in perceive them, and because of the environments that they grew up in where they did not see themselves. Again, both of their parents, every parent involved in this should be ashamed. And I'm serious. This is not my community, but I'm gonna speak on it. The Asian community has to have a conversation. This is so scary. Every time we get on Love is Blind, we have an Asian couple who says, oh, my preference is a white person, but I'll try it with you. And they're very apprehensive to get in a relationship with another Asian person because that person is not the standard. The person that is the standard for them is a white person. That is alarming, guys. That is very scary. And to be so confident and open with such self-hatred is concerning. That should not be the norm. Why do you guys not like being in relationships with each other? Y'all really have to examine that. Out of all people, you want to make the extreme colonizer the standard? It's very scary and sad to watch because I'm like, these are two grown adults and they are both saying, oh, the people that I normally go for are white people. I'm used to that. Everybody that I have been with has been white, and struggling to come together and make this relationship work and being very apprehensive about an Asian person and saying, oh, I don't go for Asians. How the hell are you as an Asian person saying that? That has to be addressed. Something is wrong. How do you not like what you see? How do you not like the opposite gender in your community or the same gender? Like, how are you like so comfortable saying that? What is going on in your homes where this is normal? Because I hated watching that. And I'm not Asian, but I hated watching that. Like, oh my gosh, you two do not see any value in the other because you come from the same culture. You instantly devalue each other? That is sad. So anyway, Patrick and Anna find each other. They struggle at first when they both realize that each other, that the person that they're talking to is Asian. In the beginning, it was fun. It was cool. They were getting to know each other and they were vibing and they really started to like each other. Then they found out the other person was Asian and they immediately took a step back. And then they worked through that internalized racial trauma and then started to forge their way to a relationship. And I was really proud because at first, like the way the conversations were going, I was just like, are y'all not going to make this work because you're both Asian? Like, I was just so disappointed. So I'm glad that eventually these two were just like, let's give it a shot. I hope moving forward that there's some kind of work done in the community. Again, not my community, not my business, but I think that there is an issue where you cannot find value in another Asian person because you devalue that person because they're Asian and you put on a pedestal your shared oppressor. That's too colonized for me. What kind of colonization is this? Even the Black Brits are looking at you like, wow, my God, today. That is very scary. You know what? The Black Brits did not need to catch a stray. Sorry. Not all. So while Patrick is getting along with Anna and like forging some kind of relationship, even though he found out that she's Asian, he's trying to make it work. He's also hitting it off with Casey. Casey couldn't wait to tell Patrick that she was a white woman. And I was just like, what is going on with Love is Blind? Because I thought this experiment was for people to not reveal their skin color or their culture. I thought that that was the thing. Like, you just talk about very general but personal things, but remove the culture and race aspect of it, and height aspect of it, and body type aspect of it, because love is supposed to be blind. So if I'm putting a race and a culture and a height and a weight to it, that's not blind. So I thought that you were not supposed to do that, but obviously this cast just did whatever they wanted. But she could not wait to tell Patrick that she was a white woman, but she also was not ready to find out that he was Asian. And we will get into it because Casey is trying to play a game, but girl, the show clocked your T. Anton is a talker. I am actually so shocked. He didn't look like it. He does not look like a talker. And in the preview, the Netflix preview on YouTube, he just did not come off like a talker. He talked so much. Anton hit it off with Ali, and I don't know how. He talked so much, she could barely get a word in. From what the show showed us, I was just like, Anton, are we learning anything about Ali? He just kept on talking about his life, his situation, his family, his culture. And I think that's great. But let's learn about the woman that you are interested in so that we can go to the next step. But he talked the entire time. I don't even think we saw that man take a break or blink. Did he even breathe? My God, today I was like, take a break, Papa. Let her get some words in. And I think because this show just showed us Anton talking, for me, it makes absolutely no sense how him and Ali got to the point where they were talking about they were in love. Was there nothing else to focus on with this couple? Because all we literally got was Anton talking and Ali going, yeah, yeah. And then next thing you know, he's like, I love you. And she's crying and saying, I love you. And I'm like, how y'all love each other? How did we get here? Now, granted, they might have had some stuff to get them there. The show did not show us that. So I'm like, how are y'all in love? We never saw this develop. This does not make any sense. And it's making me think that maybe this relationship is not going to go the distance because the show is not investing in it. The proposal was not even an investment. I'm telling you guys, this is episode 1. I'm watching these two say they love you, and then I'm watching a proposal, and I'm like, how do we get here? This is what I was saying, that this season just seems so off. Like, it just doesn't seem real. Have we ever had a proposal in all of its 8 seasons? Have we ever had a proposal on the first episode where they have given us minimal introductions of these characters? And y'all want us to fall in love with this love story? It just doesn't make any sense. Something is extremely off with this season. The proposal was lackluster. Their introducing each other was lackluster. I don't know how they got here, and I'm not invested. And that is the thing, Love is Blind. Y'all need to give us information or more scenes with these people for us to be invested in their love story. This happened so quickly. Y'all gave us such little information about them. I'm not invested in this couple. Half the season watching this, I kept on forgetting that they existed. I'm not invested in them because y'all gave us nothing. The proposal means nothing if I do not know who these characters are. Anyway, Ali and Anton are engaged. Girl, don't ask me how. Calabria, a baddie. I don't know why she's on this show. I don't think Calabria has a problem finding a man. I don't know if she's just on this show for some kind of exposure or because somebody on Love is Blind promised her that she could be on the perfect match or something. Like, I just don't know why she's here. I do not believe for 1 second that this woman needs this show. I'll give it to her. Absolute baddie, a tinge of bird behavior, just a tinge, because she connects with Edmund. We will get to him. We will get to him. She connects with Edmund and she immediately connects with him because she's telling him everything that she would do for him. She's basically selling herself as a mammy to this man. Not only a mammy, but a sugar mama. And I'm just like, why are you telling this man this unless You are moving so desperate to get out of the pods and to make it through the process of this show. How she has moved throughout this season makes me believe or confirms for me that she doesn't need this show. I think this is some kind of exposure for her because the choices that she is making just is not making sense, right? And maybe, listen, maybe she is desperate. I mean, it's Denver. Lord, the quality, at least if this show is representing the quality that is in Denver, then maybe I can understand it. But I'm just like, I don't think you need this show, sis. I don't think you need it. I think this is exposure. I think, and it's not just her, and maybe just for Edmund, but I think for the rest of this cast, this is exposure. This is a fun thing to do. It's something cool, and you get on TV and you make money. You may get a fan base out of this. I don't think anybody except Edmund is taking this seriously or really wanted this or needed this. Something is off, guys. I hope y'all give me the tea because I'm not buying what this show is selling. And the 50-50 in the marriage thing, I was like, what? And Edmund ate it up. Edmund ate it up. Speaking of Edmund, let's get into it. Let's get into Edmund. He scares me. He scares me. Something is not right. And I think this show is doing the women on this show a disservice because I don't think that they do the proper background checks. And I do not think that they take their psyche vows seriously because I don't think he would have passed it if they actually had one or took it seriously. I don't think he would have passed it. There is something obviously off with Edmund. Something is happening there, maybe a tinge or a touch of tism, but something is happening here with him. And I think it's completely unfair and damn near unsafe to put Calabria in a space or any woman that interacted with him in this space without fully knowing this man's medical condition. Because listen, I'm not a doctor, but something is off. And I think the show should have found that out. And if they did find it out, they should have revealed it. Do not leave it up to the woman to try to figure out who this man is because she's coming to this process whole and she thinks she's dealing with a partner who has the same sentiment or state of mind. I don't think he has that. Something is off. And it's not just him being a little weird or being a little fun. Throughout the season, there were some things and I was just like, something's happening here and we need to discuss it. I don't think he should have been on the show. Just my opinion. I could be wrong, but something is a little off here. It has nothing to do with him being a sensitive Sally. I actually love a little man to shed a bit of tears. Like I don't need a macho man, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but there was something about the way that he constantly cried. Again, I don't think it's wrong. I just think that there's something not properly managed within him that makes him react the way he reacts. It is very childlike, very infant-like. It's concerning because this is an adult male and he is acting a certain way that you do not expect an adult to act. And I don't think it's an act. I don't think it's him doing this for TV. I think that where his state of mind is not where his body is. There's a mental maturity that is not adding up to the physical reality of this man. And I say that because I don't think that he is in a position to be head of household, at least now. Like something is going on, and it's not fair that this show did not reveal this to Calabria. Again, she's talking to him in the pods. There is a moment where she meets him and she still goes through with the process. So that's why I'm just like, Calabria, ain't no way you miss what we are all seeing. Ain't no way you are not picking up what Edmund is putting down. So for you to still go along in this process, I don't think you ever intended. I haven't seen the rest, so I don't know. But if she doesn't go through with this, I wouldn't be shocked. We also meet Miss Megan Sparkles this episode, and I can see why a woman like her would need this show, right? She is financially independent. She makes her own money. She has a really great job. She has everything in life but a partner, and that happens a lot when a person is chasing a career and a certain kind of success. Then they achieve the success, and they're just like, okay, I have everything that I wanted out in life, but the next thing that I want is a partner and children. And I think this makes sense for not only her age, but where she is at in her career. So a show like this does make sense. It doesn't make sense she does not seem like a risk taker. She is very cautious about a lot of things, but then she throws a lot of her caution to the wind and just accepts what this process gives her. And I think for the moment it's fun, but we're talking about marriage, and she is entertaining men who seem to be looking for that, but she's also starting to fall for a man that has a child. And I just feel like cautious Megan Sparkles needs to kick back in, because I think she's going to make a decision that she's probably either going to regret later in life, or is going to make her not want to continue on with this process. Listen, I get it, right? Her life is so controlled. She's just like, I don't want to control life anymore. I just want to go out there and just do something different. I think doing something different is great, not when it is concerning a huge life decision, because at the end of the day, you are going to go into a legally binding contract with this man in the US government. That's one thing about Love is Blind. They don't play, they may play with marriage, but they do not play with making it legal. They make it legal immediately. These are real marriages. As soon as they say I do, this show whisks them backstage and they make them sign a legal document. So it ain't a game. And I think that somebody who has been so cautious their entire life, taking a risk like this may not be the smartest decision. Let's get into episode 2. So Ali and Anton meet. Anton cannot believe how hot Ali is. He's just like, she's so hot. She's so hot. He can't believe it. He cannot believe that a woman like this needs this show. And I'm just like, that's why you need to be looking at it. That's why you need to not just be gagged about how hot she is. You need to be like, why do you need this show, Ali? He's going to find out, child. He is going to find out. But these two have nothing in common. Immediately, I can see it. Like, here's the thing, the show didn't give us much on them, so I didn't know really anything about this relationship, so I couldn't call it until they actually met. And I was like, oh, you guys really didn't talk about anything, so that's why the show didn't show us, because they know nothing about each other. They just keep on staring at each other. It's totally lust out the gate. Like, they're just looking and staring. She's commenting on how thick his hair is, and he's just commenting on how beautiful she is. Like, nothing else. They are just so happy that the person that they talk to is attractive. No meaningful conversation, because I don't think they ever had one. When Ali sees Anton, she continues to cry. Before Ali saw Anton, she was crying. Then she sees him again and she keeps on crying. She keeps on saying that she loves him. And I'm like, what made you fall in love with him? Like, what is it? We never saw you guys have a meaningful conversation. So how did we get here? Which is why I'm just like, this show is a joke. This season is a joke. I will also say this, and maybe this is the show just trying to give us a misdirect or a shock and surprise and all later in the season with Ali and Anton, because Ali's personality is completely different out of the pods. It's like she goes to immediate airhead. She didn't seem like such an airhead in the pods, but talking to Anton, it's just like everything is very superficial with her. And she's just like, yeah, okay. Oh my God, your hair. Oh, wow. Your eyes. Like, that's it. There wasn't anything else. So for me, I was just like, I don't know who this person is, because we didn't get to see much of her. So maybe she's always was, kind of an airhead, but I just didn't see it until she started talking to Anton. And I'm like, 1, they don't know anything about each other. 2, they have nothing in common. 3, Ali's an airhead. Or maybe it's just the damsel in distress act that she's doing, but I was just like, oh, these two are not going to work. I knew immediately. I knew when the attraction wore off, these two are not going to work. Again, I've only watched up to episode 6, so I'm not sure. But from what I can see thus far, I don't think they're going to work. But only time will tell. So we get new cast of characters, Nick and Annie. Where is Nick's pictures? Where is? There he is. Oh, he looks like his views, don't he? So this is Nick. He is he's in a bit of a love triangle. He is stuck between Annie and I believe Kate. Yes, Annie and Kate. He's stuck between these two women, and I'm telling you, the two women is not where Nick is stuck, but that's for him to figure out later in life. But he's in kind of a triangle because he's really hitting it off with Kate and he's really hitting it off with Annie. But him and Annie seems to be really, really going the distance because they just have very, similar closed-minded views. We don't see much of them learning about the other, but we do see a lot of them talking about sex. And it's just like really, really weird in a way where it just seems like neither one of them like has sex or talks about it. It was just very, very childlike, very high school, the way these two were communicating, to the point where I was just becoming very uncomfortable because I was just like, I feel like you guys are trying to, I don't think they're trying to make the audience uncomfortable, but I feel like they're trying to convince the audience that they have sex and that they have a lot of sex and that they have good sex and that it's nasty and kinky sex. I feel like they were trying to convince the audience that it was more than it really was. It was giving me talking about something that had never happened, but embellishing on it to make other people blush. And I don't think they delivered. What's wetter than Annie's carpet? It's not giving what it's supposed to have gave, especially in that nasally Justin Timberlake accent. Like, oh, Annie, me and you, we're gonna be so good together. That's not getting Annie wet. And if she's telling you that, she's lying. Because what in the Bert and Ernie is going on here, child? Let's go back to Calabria and Edmund. Calabria and Edmund, they're absolutely hitting it off. And Calabria and Edmund remind me of the two Black kids that went to an all-white school, but they came from Black love households. And so their parents were just like, you can go and have fun at this school and just get an education, but you can't bring nobody not Black home. And so you find the other Black kid in the school and you try to force a relationship to work because you are each other's only option. And I feel like that's what happened. I feel like Calabria and Edmund hit it off, and they probably could have hit it off with other people, but I think they found somebody who would go along in this process with them, because I don't think that anybody else of another culture would have made the connection that these two are making. And I think it's familiarity that is really linking them to, and not really what the others want. Because Calabria is not really describing herself and who she is. She's just telling Edmund everything that he wants to hear. And Edmund is just trauma dumping on her and devouring her compliments and her willingness to die to him. Let's circle back to Patrick. So Patrick and Casey are hitting it off. He's also hitting it off really, really well with Anna, who he was shocked about. But I feel like Patrick likes Anna. And I think he likes Anna because he wants to make a relationship work with an Asian person. I think that him and Anna having so much in common, I think that really intrigued him. And finding an Asian woman that is receptive to him, I think that intrigued him even more. And I think he really wants to make that work. But Casey is what he's not only used to, but it's something that he has always desired, because this kind of woman has always rejected him. So he is really trying to make this work, to the point where I believe that he's starting to make her uncomfortable, because he cannot stop talking about how he's Asian. And I don't think it's anything wrong with him speaking about he's Asian, but he's speaking about it in a very negative way where it's just like, well, women like you wouldn't want me because I'm Asian. You can see her being very not necessarily turned off, but feeling awkward about the conversation because he's consistently bringing up his insecurities with her. And I noticed with Anna, it's just such a more easier and smoother conversation, but that confuses him because it's not what he's used to. He's used to, a lot of self-deprecation in relationships and being prepared to be rejected by like a white woman. So I feel like he is setting himself up for the rejection. And I think that's making her uncomfortable because he talks about it so much. He cannot get over the fact that he was rejected by a white woman damn near his entire life. Like he cannot get past it. And he's sort of kind of making it her problem. And it's making her uncomfortable. Also in this episode, we saw Patrick and Anna when they finally were comfortable enough to just say, hey, we're Asian, it is what it is. And they were finally, comfortable with that conversation because they both knew and they assumed and they kind of knew. I think it was the middle name thing that just got them, right? But so when they were finally comfortable, it'd be like, well, you're Asian, I'm Asian, let's just have this conversation. And they were asking each other where they were from, like what was their ethnicity. And they both have like Chinese ancestry. And they both kept on going, oh, that's so hot. That's so hot. Oh, Chinese. Yeah, so you're hot. And I'm like, oh, you learn something new every day. So are Chinese people the hot people of the Asian community? Because they were so happy that the other person had Chinese ancestry. And they kept on saying, oh, so you're hot. You're Chinese. Oh, so you're hot. Is that the case? Let me know. Let me know, NikkiStar family. Let me get in y'all business. Is that the case? Like, are Chinese people considered the hottest people of the Asian community? I mean, I know that's how it is for Black Americans. We're the hottest of the Blacks. Allegedly. I didn't say it. I'm joking, please. I don't want to start a diaspora war. But Star family, let me know if that is the case, because I thought it was rather interesting that they continued to say that, and they both got so excited when they heard that the other had Chinese ancestry. So let me know in the comment section below. And again, diaspora, I'm just joking, please. And we get another proposal in this episode. So episode 1, we get one proposal. Episode 2, we get another proposal, and that is Madison and Joe. Well, why did I call him Joel? Anyway, Madison and Joe. Did we see any of Madison and Joe? I was like, who is this? Who are these people? And we have a proposal. What is going on? It was another lackluster proposal. What is going on with this season? I feel like Love is Blind had no more budget and just threw whatever would work on the wall and whatever stuff they said, this is the season. It is not making any sense, guys. Is this how Love is Blind normally works? I feel like we do not get proposals until like at least episode 4. Why do we have a proposal on episode 1 and 2? Isn't that odd to you guys? This doesn't seem normal. This does not seem more normal. Also, Madison, do you even like Joe? I don't know how we got here. I do not know how we got here. I felt like she wasn't giving him anything. And where is Joe in that toupee? Where is he? Brendan Blake. Where's Joe? I don't have his picture. Oh, there he is. This has to be a hairpiece. I've never seen a white man with a box. This has to be a piece. It has to be. Does he even like Madison? How did we get to a proposal? I am gagged. Oh, let's just move on to episode 3. So in episode 3, Anna leaves. Anna and Patrick, where's Thickness? Anna and Patrick are hitting it off and they're having a really, really good time. Then she goes into pods because she's also stuck between Patrick and Blake. Where's Blake? She was really hitting it off with Blake, but then her and Patrick really, really took a positive turn. And I don't know, I was happy about that. Maybe it's the Black American in me that is just always rooting for, the colonized to find each other. I don't know. I don't know. But it was just like, I was really happy that these two not only were able to finally appreciate each other because of their shared ancestry and culture, but also that they were doing so well. I think would this have been the first Asian marriage or like relationship that we've seen on this show? I think it would have been. Normally we get Asian people with white partners. So I was really rooting for them and really excited, but she left. She was talking to one of the girls in a pause, and she was just like, one of the girls in the girls' meeting room, and she was just feeling very nervous and anxious about the process. And then she left. She gave no explanation. I think we're going to find out in the later episodes, but I thought that was just rather odd that we didn't know what happened with Anna. She just left. And I felt so bad for Patrick because he was so excited to go talk to her. I think he was going to propose. And he sits in the room. He's like, hello, 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 hello. And nobody's there. And nope, like none of the production tells him. And I will say this. I don't know. I'm not going to read into it. Maybe I'm just a friend that's a bit too woke. But I thought it was rather odd that Patrick had no idea that Anna left. He was sitting there in the room calling her name. He eventually walked out because she never showed up. He never knew what was going on, fell into a little mini depressive episode. But then Blake goes in. I don't even think Blake went to go in his pod to talk to her. Production pulled him right away and told him Anna left. And I'm like, why did y'all tell Blake that Anna left and not Patrick? Why did Patrick have to find out through the grapevine when he was ready to propose? I thought that was weird, rather odd. That only Blake was the one who was giving enough courtesy to be told by production that Anna left. Listen, this is an edited show, so maybe some things happened there that we didn't see, but y'all edited the show that way. So that is my interpretation for what you put on the screens. Sparkle Megan, I don't think you want to be a stepmom or a breadwinner. And this is the situation that you're going to be in with Jordan. So Sparkle Megan is really hitting it off with, where is he at? She's really hitting it off with Jordan really, really well. But because of his reality, she's pulling away, right? But she likes him the most. She also has a little something with Mike. Oh, there he is. With Mike, who is very similar to her, where he's similar in finances, he's similar in career, maybe a bit too similar for her and maybe a bit too intense because she's intense. So she wants somebody that's a bit fun and easygoing. And Jordan is that, but Jordan does not make a lot of money. And Jordan is a single dad. And the baby mama is alive. Ciao. That's a lot to take in. But she genuinely likes this guy. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous because on paper they don't make sense. But she is going after it. She is going after it with Jordan. I want to know what happened with him and his baby mom that right after she had that baby, he got a vasectomy. What happened with him, the baby mom, and the kid where he was just like, oh, I'm not doing this again. One and done. Explain to us that, Jordan, because he's like, oh, I'm snipped, but I can get it reversed. Hopefully. What made you snip after one kid? Because men don't snip and don't snip. Like, not a lot of them. It is very taboo. So what happened in your relationship to make you go, I'm never doing this again? See, that's the stuff you got to be asking, Megan, when you in them pods. That's what you have to ask. This pissed me off. And I feel like they're going to piss me off for the remainder of the season. So Joe and Madison meet. So Joe with the toupee, he sees Madison for the first time. He is disappointed. And I immediately knew it was her weight and her height. What little weight that Madison has. Madison is like, in my opinion, she's thin, but I'm black. So, but I'm like, the most she could be is a 10. The most like in size, like that. She got no butt, a little stomach, huge jugs. I'm like, you're white. You don't like jugs? What is the issue? He looks at her, he goes, oh, you're tall. Oh, and he's just laughing the whole time while looking at her. And I was just like, he does not like her. He does not like her. But anyway, they sit down, they meet. She is so happy to see him. She keeps on kissing him. He just keeps on staring at her. And then we see his confessional where Joe is just like, well, she's a lot bigger than I'm used to. The audacity. Look at him. The audacity. He's like, she's a lot bigger than I'm used to, but this is what this experiment is. And I'm like, you didn't have to say that, because this is somebody who you just proposed to. You proposed to this woman. So to sit down to your confessional and then start dragging her looks. Yeah, not a good look for you, Joe. Not a good look for you. I'm like, Madison is a baddie. I cannot believe that you are acting like this woman is not pretty because she's tall. And then I was just like, you know what? He's that guy, because men like this are extremely intimidated and insecure, extremely intimidated by women and insecure. They're especially intimidated by women who they do not feel like they can conquer. Men like Joe want a very small, childlike woman because he feels like he can physically overpower her and he can intimidate her with his stature. He can't do that with Madison. So he immediately goes to, well, attraction can grow. Just basically saying he's not attracted to her. And it's all because of her stature, because she's not fat. So for him to act like, oh, I go for smaller or slimmer women, who the hell's going to be slimmer than me? If Madison gets any slimmer, she's going to disappear. What are you looking for? A kid. I'm sorry. But we have to acknowledge how, in certain communities, the beauty standards are very pedophilic. It's a different story for another day, but got to talk about it. Let's go back to Calabria. Calabria and Edmund are at the proposal stage. So she writes a letter to him and basically just lets him know again, or reassures him again, that she will be his mammy. Edmund obviously cries and he proposes to her. I have to tell you, the proposals have been so lackluster this season. It's like the men walked on to, the schoolyard at recess and gave a girl a ring pop. Like, the bar is in hell. The bar is in hell, but these two get engaged. I'm not moved. I had not been moved by any engagement. I had not been moved by anybody's tears. I had not been moved by anybody's story. I had not been moved by anybody saying that I love you. This season seems rushed. It could have been an email or left on the cutting room floor, because it seems like the show didn't care about these people or their process. Why should the audience? If you didn't care, why am I doing all this emotional labor? We will get to him, because right now I'm only reviewing the first 3 episodes. We will follow up in the next 3, which will be the following day. But baby, something is off. Something is off. And I need to see if he actually passed the psyche valve. Something is off. And Calabria, ain't no way you ain't see it. Ain't no way you ain't see it. You spent more time with this man. You had to have even heard something. Ain't no way. They are playing in our face. They are playing in our face this season, y'all. Something is off. Not just with Edmund, with the whole season. So now that Anna left the show, Patrick is all of a sudden into Casey again. He is now talking to the guys, and he's just like, oh, well, Casey is who I always wanted, and me and Anna, we were too similar. Really downplaying his feelings and attraction to her and making it seem like it was something that was forced. I felt like y'all were forced trying to not like each other because we found out the other person wasn't white. Weird. But I think that his connection with Anna was more genuine, but because he's trying to complete the process, that's what's happening here. Everybody on this show wants to complete the process. I feel like this entire cast went into the show knowing that they're going to divorce. So anyway, because he wants to complete the process, now all of a sudden he's so gung-ho into Casey. It doesn't feel real. It feels extremely forced and calculated so that he can stay on the show. And this is how you can tell that a man is red pilled, because he spent his entire interaction with Casey saying that, oh, I don't think that you would like me because I'm Asian and I have all these insecurities about being Asian because I've been rejected my entire life by white women. And as soon as he reels Casey in to the point where she actively wants to be with him, then he Uno reverses it on her and he says, well, you know what, my concern, because she's talking about how she's ready. Basically, she's ready for this proposal, right? She wants to complete this process with him. And he tells her, I don't think you're 100% into this process. Who are you? I don't think you want it enough. Excuse me? Mr. Insecure all of a sudden got standards? I did not like how he did that. And I was just like, this is the issue. These men are red pilled because now all of a sudden you want to be this dominant guy. You want to show her who's boss. And as soon as he did that switch up, I was just like, Casey, get away from him, because the white woman who rejected him won't feel his wrath, but you will, because he finally now has a white woman to punish. He couldn't punish some other ones for rejecting him, but he can punish you. Run, girl. I will say this. This is Nikki from the future. I didn't think that she would take my advice. Girl, anyway, let's stay in episode 3. I will also say this. I think as an American, Patrick is as well, I think those who are, I think he's probably first gen, or maybe his parents is first gen, but I think those who are not Black American or white American, damn near even Native American, I think their experience is so vastly different from those two groups. And like everybody's experience is going to be different. I think it's just such a huge difference because Patrick has relied on the fact that he is Asian. That's why he has not been able to get the girl that he wants, right? That's why he continues to get rejected. And I'm sitting here watching him and I'm just like, Patrick, I don't think it was that. I don't think that necessarily all the time. I think that there were probably some white girls who liked you. There were probably some Asian girls in that school who liked you. You wanted a certain kind of woman, and you wanted a woman that did not want you. And instead of pursuing the ones that wanted you, you went after the ones that you could not have. Because I think you went after white women who are the standard for the white men that you idolize. And because you could not get those women, because why would, no shade, why would they be with you when they can get with the standard white men? And I think you internalize that, which is absolutely understandable. But I think it rotted you in a way, because I'm sitting here listening to how he's talking to Katie. I'm sitting here listening to even how he communicates with Anna. I do like how he communicates with Anna. I think he communicates a bit better with her than he did with Casey. But even when he's talking to the men, I'm just like, I think you need to heal that trauma from your childhood and young adult years, because you do not realize that probably a lot of the times why you weren't picked was because of your terrible attitude. Because to think that it is okay to speak to a woman that way, or another human being who is opening themselves up to you in this process, to think that that is how you should talk to a woman that you are considering being your wife and she is considering you being her husband, to think that that is okay lets me know that there is some kind of empathy disconnect there. And I feel like that empathy disconnect is only something that you can get from these right-wing nut job streamers and Twitchers and whoever podcasters that these men are now listening to. And I would not be surprised if he listens to some kind of dating coach, because the way he switched the script up on Casey was diabolical. It went from her, stroking his ego and trying to make him feel secure because he made her feel bad for the white woman that rejected him, to now, oh, you're not doing enough to get me. Excuse me? You're the pursuer. What do you mean she's not doing enough? And it's sad because it actually worked on Casey. She starts questioning herself. She starts letting him know, no, I'm really in here for you, doing the most to appease him and making him feel like he's that guy, because for all of his life, he hasn't felt that way. In no way is he ready to be somebody's husband or father. We're going to end here with Mike. Mike is a hater. So Mike is in a triangle with Megan Sparkles and Jordan. Megan Sparkles and Jordan are getting along very, very, very well. We'll get into it a bit later in my next review, but I feel like it is the pain from her father is kind of clouding her judgment with the situation with Jordan, but that's another story for another time. But because she is getting a bit more leeway with Jordan, Mike, who does not believe that Jordan adds up to him, whether it be looks or finances, whatever it is, he feels like he's the better choice for Megan Sparkles. And instead of allowing her to choose, he is now spending his time in the pods with her, trying to rot her brain about Jordan, because he cannot believe that he is in competition with that man who he thinks that he is a better catch than. So he's trying to put doubt in her mind and make her think that who Jordan has presented to her is not who he actually is. Now, he may be right. That is not his place. Because if you really wanted to do that to protect her, you would have been volunteered that information, because you spend more time with Jordan than Megan does. You revealing this stuff about Jordan was not to protect her. It was to get her to choose you. And I think you shot yourself in the foot there, because I don't think she liked it. That's all I have to say about the first 3 episodes of Love is Blind Denver. Let me get out of here and edit this and load this for you tonight. The following day, I will upload the next remaining episodes, and then prayerfully on Friday, I can do a live about the latest episodes of Love is Blind. If I can't do a live, then I will just do some quick recorded reviews, just because I really, really do have to catch up. And me being sick for the past 4 days really, really set your girl back. So please bear with me. I'm going to try to get up as much as I can to you guys this week and weekend. So prayerfully by Monday, we can be all caught up. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, Star Family. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch Little Old Me. Please make sure you thumbs up the video, share if you care, hype it up. Please, thank you all so much for your support, and I will see you in the next review of Love is Blind Denver for episodes 4 through 6. 6? Crazy work. Crazy work. That's why, I might do a live for 6. Should I do a live for 6? I might do that, because there is so much to talk about in 6. I think I want to do a quick review for 4 and 5, and then 6 through 8 maybe will be a live review, because there's so much to talk about. And I don't think I have the strength to edit all of that. 6 is such a doozy, guys. I'm going to see, but please make sure you thumbs up this video. Let me know what you thought about these 3 episodes in the comment section below, and I will see you soon for something else. Love you guys. Bye. This season was a throwaway, child.